West Road. 3329 RD15.
Still south on 101 through Silverman. What was the location? My location? He's going to be southbound Beaudry from First.
Southbound Beaudry from First.
Yeah, this is one of the street races.
Unit 3 engaged. Air 3 is unable to track.
He's in TC, but he's still southbound Beaudry at 2nd.
331 Roger.
Right over here? Right now? We're standing right over there. What is the...
Yeah, multiple shooting just occurred 28th and Maple 28th and Maple 9 gunshots heard and on a vehicle heard speeding away afterwards.
Maple and 28. 4 shots heard, 1 was one down. Turn up the door!
Get out of the car. Not the time to do so. We have essentially a memorandum of agreement with LA County Sheriffs and the California Highway Patrol to do the same thing on a county-wide level, and we periodically participate in joint task forces with these allied agencies, and there are other agencies. Long Beach PD, for example, is also part of this agreement. But the ultimate goal is to disrupt and abate any street racing activity just on a regional level.
And when you talk about street racing, is it what people envision, kind of 2 cars side by side, kind of drag racing, or are there different types of activities you see out here?
We have some street racing activity here in South and Central Los Angeles that is exactly that, 2 cars drag racing. We have a much greater problem with street and intersection takeovers, where several hundred cars and probably twice as many people will come and take over an intersection, block off all sides of the intersection and just take it over while cars do donuts in the intersections, which is inherently dangerous in and of itself. And we've had multiple incidents where people get hit by cars. We've had some fatalities related to this activity.
What does the community have to say about this? Do they see it as a problem? Do they see it as the LAPD has kind of bigger issues to worry about?
It's a pretty significant quality of life issue for people. It's between the smoke, the noise, the crowds. One of the main issues that we deal with related to these crowds, this activity, is the mob-like mentality that takes over with these crowds. They're very aggressive towards law enforcement, towards citizens that stumble into their takeovers. So it's quite an issue. We've had a lot of violent crime associated with these takeovers. We've had vandalisms, assaults, and we've actually had some homicides as well, some shootings. So it carries a little bit of everything with it.
And then in terms of kind of the posture that how you deal with these street racers, what part of it is an enforcement component? What part of it is as you said, an abatement component? What part of it is an education component? Or do they all kind of blend in together?
They sort of blend in together, but we do have separate components. I mean, we have places that we know are known locations for this activity, which we also frequent and make our presence known. We try to prevent the activity from even beginning. From an enforcement perspective, our posture is zero tolerance, and there's consequences to everybody's actions, and they come with pretty stiff penalties. Drivers, and whether they're actively participating or spectating, blocking traffic for the takeovers, comes with a 30-day hold. Some of these cars that are engaged in the reckless driving activity, we obviously can't always catch them right then and there when it's happening, but we have other tools available to us, like judicial seizures. So we will come with a court order to your house, and we will take your car for 30 days.
Can you expand on the judicial seizure component of it?
So the judicial seizure is a court order mandating the seizure of the vehicle for 30 days based on takeover, reckless driving, speed contest type activity, and that order comes directly from a judge. And there's no recourse with a department. Any appeals for release of the vehicle has to go directly to the judge by the violator, the registered owner, which just adds to our zero tolerance posture.
And what about spectators? What would you say to people that think it's a fun Sunday night to just go out and be spectators at one of these takeovers?
Well, you're part of the problem, and you're aiding and abetting the activity, so it's going to come with consequences. And those consequences can range from a simple administrative violation that carries a fine that multiplies based on the number of violations you have, or a misdemeanor criminal complaint. So the consequences can be severe, up to and including jail time. So it's just not worth it. Stay home or find something else to do.
And you've been doing this task force for how many years?
I had a part in putting it together about 6 years ago, and I've been involved with it the entire time up until the current day.
And it's fair to say a lot of these street racers kind of know you by name, correct?
I'm afraid they do.
What would you say to them? I mean, granted, you've probably already had opportunities to speak to them several times face to face, but just to kind of the general either street racing or takeover community, you could say anything to them, what would you say?
Take it to the track. There's plenty of tracks out here where you can go do this and be completely free from any, you know, law enforcement related, you know, activity. It's just you and your car and an open road. You know, going back to one of your previous questions, you asked about the educational component. So we work with several organizations that advocate against illegal street racing, and these organizations have programs for education awareness. They're also community service outlets that have been blessed by the court, where some of these racers that are on the fence that we run into, maybe new at it, they're not sure, or they're just trying to see what it's all about. When we catch them, we push them in that direction with these organizations to gain a little bit of awareness and understanding, you know, of what it's like to lose a loved one to street racing. And it opens their eyes. You know, another organization we deal with is it's from the Valley, but you know, he does a lot of work for us down here and helps a lot of these kids that are just trying to find their way. And he facilitates a lot of track time for these guys that are interested in participating. So that's how we push out the educational component.
What role would you say social media has in all of this, in terms of, do you think there's a big component where these young kids are doing this to get attention on social media?
Absolutely. The name of the game is notoriety, and what they can do, how outrageous their activity can be on social media, so that they make a name for themselves. So we use the same social media platforms that they do to send out our position, our posture, and showcase some of the individuals that get stopped, arrested, cited, and their vehicles impounded.